It is Talking Reds from a very sunny, still smiling Liverpool. I hope you're smiling your face off. I'm sure you are, wherever you are in the world, because Liverpool are champions for the 20th time, and I've not run out of things to say about it, and I'm sure you guys haven't run out of things to listen or watch or just enjoy. Mo, I feel like I've watched a lot of videos that different people have taken, everything that's been putting out, everything that the Wrap have been putting out, everyone else as well. I just can't get enough.
No, and this is as much a part of it as all of what happened on Sunday. Is just watching everyone kind of have the same experience that we did. Like, we are lucky enough to be there to see it happen, and those are memories I'll keep forever. But I really enjoyed watching everybody else, with the people who they've gone through the ups and downs with, and all enjoying it together all around the world. And yeah, I think I'm going to keep doing that until Liverpool get to play football again. I am desperate for this team to play football again, just so we can sing at them and tell them how much we love them all over again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they felt the love at the weekend, because it was that sort of day, wasn't it? And it was all set up for them to deliver, but they delivered and then some, didn't they, on and off the pitch?
Massively. The problem with doing the comments is I can see how tired my eyes look on the video still. That's why I was wearing sunglasses on the video yesterday, because no one was going to see them yesterday. Yeah, look, I loved, there was so many aspects of the weekend that I loved, and you know, a lot of the things that we talked about in the show yesterday and that I've spoken about whenever I'm sort of reliving it with everyone is just like all the moments you had with all the people that you really, really care about. But, you know, I was about to say 11 of them, but there's about 20 of them there that you really care about on the pitch. And one of the moments from the weekend that I loved was when everyone who had a song got a song, and then even some of the ones who we don't have a song for yet, we just on the spot made up one for Dom Szoboszlai. So I think it was like Dominic Szoboszlai that I don't think's been sung before, but you know, we were able to sort of show that to them, and you know, they're going to feel a lot of that over the next 4 weeks. And you know, particularly at the end when we get the big moment with the parade, where literally everyone in the city and all of them that, you know, everyone that's coming over to the city for that will get to show that love to them. So it's just been it's been incredible up in the sea. I'm just sort of catching up on everything now, because we continued the celebrations into yesterday. We continued the content in the pub. But you know, I'm looking forward to reading Neil's match review, which is getting a lot of love. I'm looking forward to listening to the post-match show that you did, the podcast, which you can get on the Anfield Wrap app. So if you're not on that, download that. There's everything you'll need on that. It was brilliant. And I think there's 3 more post-match shows to still have to listen to. So I'm still catching up.
Daddy's good. There's a lot of people slowly realising I've not got trousers on. That's what the show is.
I walked into the Glenbuck where we record all the content, and he had his trousers on his head, but no one was flinching. No, like it was the most natural thing in the world. Well, we've just won the league. Why wouldn't his trousers be on his head? Yeah, incredible.
Yeah, it was that sort of day, Mo, and for you to sort of document it, because you know you've been writing and talking about football for a long time now, but in you know this new role that you're doing at the moment, which is a lot more involved, you know, it was nice of them to crown that with the Premier League. But how was it to combine your love of Liverpool from your professional capacity on Sunday?
It was perfect. I was worried at some point that I was going to go too far in one direction, because I have all year been trying to kind of find that balance between being a professional journalist but also still being a Liverpool fan, and like fighting that within me when I'm trying to do the work. It hasn't helped the fact that there's a bloody camera sat 2 seats down from me when I'm sitting next to the LFC TV commentators, and every week there's a goal and you see them celebrating and you see me in the background.
You want to join in with Steve Hunter?
Yeah, well sometimes they drag me in. Like last week Neil Mellor gave me a high five, and I was like, I'm not going to turn it down.
Yeah, he's playing for Liverpool.
Yeah, exactly. But then I watched it back and I'm like, oh bloody hell. And then again it was the same this time. Like when Dua Lipa was playing, I was dancing away like an idiot, and lots of people have told me that they saw me on the live feed. But you know what? Sunday was the day where I didn't care. Like that was the day where it was like, look, both of these worlds can coexist for one day only. I can be a journalist who is also a massive fan, and I was really pleased I was able to do both things. I was actually really pleased I was in the press conference as well. I got to shake Arnie's hand and tell him congratulations, which I was really pleased about. But then afterwards, doing like stuff with LFC TV, we were outside, kind of like on the backdrop to the Albert, where everyone was stood on top of the roof and the
On
fire.
top of our billboard as well, which I was loving. Like, that'll be in some good pictures. I'm looking forward to finding them.
Pictures. But we were trying to talk, and it's me and Josh Williams and Dan Austin and Beth, and we were trying to talk. I'm trying to make these really meaningful, emotional statements, and all you could just hear was bah, 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 bah. And it was almost, I literally almost said, "Should we just sack this off and go over there?" But then we weren't able to stop, and then I was able to do all of my important stuff and then do all the fun stuff. And yeah, I certainly made up for it.
You mentioned there about the players, and they're in Liverpool, immortality now, and that's a huge thing because we've won 20 league titles, so it's a lot, but there's still only a select group of players who've done that. There's some very good Liverpool players who haven't won a league titles, albeit might have won other things, but for them to have that, and some of them have got 2, and it was notable to me that the first songs, you talk about the songs getting sung, almost all the first ones were the ones who'd won it last time, which is sort of quite notable for me. And then, because they get to call themselves twice champions of England now, which is a big thing. But for all of those even experienced it the first time, that is a huge moment for them. And they'll always be able to say that. They say, I played for Liverpool and we won the league.
Yeah, exactly that. The players who have played their part in this get to call themselves Liverpool legends. Whatever happens, there's a few of them that probably leave, but it's something that it took 30 years for a Liverpool team to do, and like you say, I was glad that Salah and Robbo and Van Dijk and the others were getting their songs like that, because we were almost celebrating with them for the last time as well. I think that's what everyone was doing at the weekend. I think that's why it was so big, was because it was both titles. It was like the moment that we didn't get in 2020 and then this one. So yeah, no, it's something that I as a Liverpool fan, like your life has sort of waited for that moment, hasn't it? And we were talking on the podcast in the morning of the show about. I said that it sort of felt like it would be almost like the closing of a book that's been open my entire life, which sounds like you build it. It's just football. It's just fellas running around the pitch. It's just a leisure activity, as Neil says. But actually, it's not really, is it? It's a lifestyle, and it's at times an addiction, really. But it's something that like your entire life is sort of built up to that day, and then for it to deliver in the way it has, and for those players to have that as well. Like some of them have been for Liverpool for a year, some of them 4 years, some of them 7 and 8. We've had to sort of wait our entire lives for this. We've gone through teams and said goodbye to players, and some managed it and some didn't. But the lads who were on the pitch who managed it, and the lads who managed it in 2020 that were on the pitch again, got to have that moment and get to say that they've written their names in the history of Liverpool Football Club, which is special, isn't it?
And for Arne Slot, he's a champion now. There's a bit of talk about whether he gets added to the flag and stuff like that. I don't know whose job that is. It's not mine.
Surely that's a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, but I'm sure he's because he's won. One of the big two now for Liverpool Football Club, and to do that in his first season is absolutely phenomenal. And I'm glad that he's getting the plaudits that he is. I was listening to second captains on the way in there, and they were talking about how rare it is for someone to come in and not get any new players with someone else's squad and to deliver the way he has. So they were really talking it up and talking about the other articles that were out there. Jonathan Norcoff wrote some for the Sunday Times, just saying the credit that has to go to Slot really for what he's been able to do, and he's been phenomenal. He's done it his own way. I'm glad he showed us some emotion at the weekend as well, because that is nice to see. But he's come in and been himself and been confident and delivered.
Absolutely, and I'm like you. I am glad he showed that emotion, but I always knew he would. I think that his calm and measured demeanour has obviously been part of him being true to himself, like you say, but it's also been the way he's chosen to get his message across, is to not be too high and not be too low, just keep consistency. Consistency is a word that he keeps back referring to, that Virgil keeps referring to, and I think that embodies everything that he does. But when the job is done, that's when you get to have that racial release. And he joins the pantheon of Liverpool managers who've won big trophies. He can't really dance very well. But
I love the wedding dance that he was doing.
But we'll let him off that. But no, in terms of how good he's been, there's been lots of talk recently about who should get the credit. Should it be him? Should it be Jurgen Klopp for putting the team in place and all those kind of things? And the way that people have been discussing it, it's almost like only one of them deserves the credit. No, they both deserve credit for different reasons. Jurgen for recruiting that squad, for instilling the attitude in that squad. then Slot for taking what he had been given and tweaking it and finding the spots that was needed to make a massive difference. So we always talk about the fact when you've got a really good team, it's hard to find ways to improve it. It's hard to find players who can improve it when it's already good. Well, that was the same thing when you're a manager. So to find ways to improve a team that's really good already is actually quite difficult. So he's been able to do that. And the way that he is re-energized. So I think Mo Salah is the best example. Listen to Mo Salah talk about Arne Slot. It's almost like he's his long-lost father or something, because he's just found the right way to motivate him, to take him to that other level. At a point when he maybe thought that he'd done everything, because Mo Salah is like that. He looks for every single possible way to improve, and he thought he maybe found them all. Then he spoke to Arne Slot and realised there's a few more to go. And I'm just really excited about what the future brings for this team, because it strikes me as he's the kind of person who the more time you spend in his company, the better you get at your job, whatever that job is.
It sounds like we're never going to stop, Craig, from that.
We never are. This is what Liverpool have always been. Most successful club in this country's footballing history. Stephen Kingsbury's put a nice message here. People are rather than questions, they're telling us how they feel, which is lovely.
Yeah, I'm alright with
getting
that.
to read them all. I
haven't asked any questions either.
But Stephen Kingsbury said, having to pinch myself every now and then, is it real? Then I realise it is, and that lovely feeling of contentment and elation engulfs me. No better feeling in the world. That's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, that's the feeling that you wake up and you start to go about a normal day, and then you remember your champions, and then but that's the bit that doesn't leave you. Like, that's the bit that Sunday isn't the end of.
Yeah.
Like, we've got all these games to come up. We've obviously got the parade, but then next season we get the thing of going into grounds all over the country and singing about being champions. Like, the first moment on Sunday of me get like welling up. I cried. What was I saying? Who am I kidding? Was on the 78th minute when they started. The crowd just started to sing champions, 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 and it was over and over again. And I was just like, I just welled up and cried, because I'd never had that before. I'd never heard those words sung on the cop. Do you know what I mean? And so it just like it meant so much. Mizkan Mazani is asking, what sort of expectations do we keep for next season, lad? I love how you're looking straight at the next season. Neil Atkinson's doing this as well, and it's like it's scrambling my mind. But I mean, first of all, someone else has asked about the expectations for this the rest of the season. Like, do we think we're, they play the full team? Do they rest players? Do they give other players a chance? So what's your expectations over the sort of the next 4 games, and then what's your expectations for next season?
I think he'll go strong mode for the rest of the season, just to sort of do it chronologically. I think he's throughout the season, he's picked what he's believed his best 11 to be, and if there hasn't been a need to rotate, he generally hasn't. And so I'm expecting him to go strong. I know there's people out there who'd love to see some Chiesa or some Endo or whoever it might be that you feel like deserves a few more minutes, but I think the manager will continue to go strong with the idea of trying to get as many points as possible, but also with the idea of building towards next season. But what do you think?
I agree, and it's strange because you look at the fixtures we've got, and there aren't really any easy games. There's not a kind of a game where it's like, oh, well, it doesn't matter, we can just throw them in there. But again, I think the consistency he's shown over his messaging says that he's not going to change it now and just kind of treat these games as an irrelevancy. The players, however, might have different ideas. Like, I listened to Andy Robertson on the pitch who was talking about they might be here and having a party for 4 weeks. And I mean, we remember what happened last time they won the league. When they clearly were playing football matches when they probably shouldn't have been playing football matches. So
that Man City game was a fucking joke. But like, we were able to watch it and laugh at it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's like, when have been beaten by Man City not mattered absolutely at all. But I mean, I'm kind of joking a little bit. I think the fact is, Liverpool playing Chelsea, Liverpool playing Arsenal. These are teams who, whatever the situation, whenever Liverpool play them, the stakes are normally quite high. So Liverpool will want to put out a good performance.
Well, certainly want to be Arsenal, you would have thought.
Yeah, I think so. And I just don't see there being too much change. There may be a couple of instances where Slot maybe wants to look at a few things here and there, or a player in a certain position, but that will be maybe 25 minutes to 30 minutes towards the end of the game. I wouldn't see it start. So, for example, when Curtis Jones was starting at right back, I still think that in his mind he was thinking, well, how do I get a bit more creativity into the team? How can I get 4 midfielders into my side? Kind of like we've got with Trent being a midfielder at certain points next season. So there might be stuff with that. Obviously, we don't know how bad Connor's knock is. It might be a case of him trying to get some more reps as well. But outside of that, I don't really see there being massive changes. As for the future and beyond, my expectation is continued success.
Yeah.
Like, my expectation is to look at that BBC pundits poll next season and see 25 of them say that Liverpool are going to win the league next season. Because I would say that, as it stands, no one else is in a better chance. No one else is in a better position to do it than we are. Like, the summer transfer window will be massive for lots of teams. Everyone believes that they've got the ability to change things. But there are also quite a few teams who are trying to buy the same players. So not everyone's going to be able to get them.
No.
And so I think from our perspective, having worked so well with what we've got at the moment, we're starting from a higher base. So even if the things that we want to do aren't coming off, we've still got plenty of great stuff to work with. But I think they will come off anyway.
Team to beat next year? I think so.
Yeah, massively. And I actually think the next few games are important in that, because I think Liverpool should be aiming to reach 90 plus points, because that is a bit of a statement in itself. And you know, we've at different times people have talked on shows over the years around the idea of the end of season sort of building towards the next season, and I think it is slightly different if they won the league based on what we did see in 2020, and you know, you have to sort of allow them to have the celebrations and enjoy the moment and all of that. But I think Slot will be sort of quietly saying, look, we want to lay down a bit of a marker. We want to go to Chelsea and enjoy ourselves. I honestly, I can see Liverpool getting beat at the weekend, and it feels like a mad thing. But it just feels like after the celebrations and all of that, like we saw that happen last time. But then I want them to go and beat Arsenal, and I want them to sort of win the following games. I want them to win the last day, the day of the trophy lift, and they will as well. But next season, look, I think Liverpool should be favourites, and I'm interested to see how they deal with that. I think they'll deal with it just fine. They've got big characters. They've got, you know, really, really strong leadership there. They've got a manager who now doesn't need to prove himself to anyone, because, you know, in his sort of 5-6 years as a manager, he's won some trophies, and he's won the big one at his first attempt. And now a lot of the players that were playing for Liverpool who maybe hadn't won lots at club level, or for Liverpool, you know, they won a League Cup, or some of them were joined last season, Chiesa being the only one, you know, well, they're now Premier League champions, and so they've got that, they've got that medal. You know, they get to walk out with a gold armband, and you know, if the journalists are to be believed, then you know, Liverpool are in for a big summer as well in terms of I know you're laughing. This happens every season, but it does feel like it feels like there's gonna be new faces, and that'll only add to the belief and the confidence going into next season.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this season's not over yet, and as ever, we are doing our awards. So every summer, we've actually done it 7 times now. We've done the tour embodiment of Liverpool FC awards. So we reward it every year. It's slightly different, so it's not quite a player of the year. There's a little bit of a twist on it. So obviously, playing matters and how well they've played, but also we think it should go to the player who we feel like, or you feel, because you vote best embodies what a Liverpool player should be. So that's obviously quality on the pitch, but lots of other things for there as well. Mo's there letting you know who he thinks should be. I wouldn't disagree with the captain if he was your choice, but it is your choice.
I love this. Let's swing it the way we want to. Who we want to interview? You want to hear interviewed?
Listen, the captain's been phenomenal, and just how he conducts himself as well, and how he leads, you know, is a massive thing. But other choices are there, and you get to pick. So the link should be in the bio for this on YouTube. If you can't see it already, in the comments as well. So do get over there, do vote, and yeah, we'll see who wins for the, I think, the 8th time. We've done it 7 or 8 times now, and so hopefully we'll be able to hand your award over to that very lucky player in the next few weeks. Also want to give a shout out to a game at Anfield on Sunday. So Liverpool women are taking on Everton. So it's a Merseyside derby. The women had a good win at the weekend, playing well at the moment, and so you're going into that with a little bit of form under Amber, who's doing well as manager at the moment. And so well worth getting down there, especially if you're someone who doesn't normally get to go to Anfield. It's a fantastic chance to get into there, get in the stadium. They'll be getting good crowds at Anfield. It's the 3rd time the women's team will have played at Anfield this season, and getting good crowds there. So it's good fun. Get yourself down. I'll be in the Kop with me boy. It's nice to be able to take him to those games. He's been pestering me about going to see the girls again, as he puts it, which is fantastic. It's great that in his head Liverpool have got 2 teams, and he likes going to watch both of them. So yeah, so get yourself down there if you can on Sunday. It is a midday kickoff, so wherever you want to watch that Chelsea game at 4:30, loads of time to either sort of get home or get to a pub, or, you know, watch it around Anfield, whatever it is that you want to do. But a nice little buffer between those two games. So tickets are still available from the club website. Anything else, Mo? Anything else you want to talk about? Anything on your mind?
So there's been an announcement in the last 24 hours about another thing that's happening the weekend of the parade. There's another boss night after party.
At the Olympia?
At the Olympia and stuff like that. So before, when you were talking about the Red Weekender and you were like, you're doing something, I'm like, yeah, there's something, but I'm not quite sure. It hasn't been announced yet. Well, it's been announced now. So I'll be there Sunday night. It's also, Timo's going to be there, Cheap Thrills, Ben Burke, Keogh's headlining. We've got Pete Wiley and Mighty Wire as well. So Liverpool legends, past and present, are all going to be there. It's the night of the trophy lift, so I dare say it's going to be a pretty good atmosphere. So yeah, get yourselves down there. Tickets, I believe, came out this morning at 10 a.m. So go on all of the Boss socials and you'll find all of the information you need.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously they've announced the parade now as well itself. That will start at 2:30 from South Liverpool. We'll snake round Liverpool and finish up in the Strand. They reckon about 3 or 4 hours later. I think we shall see on that. But it should be an absolutely brilliant day. So a 2:30 start, which allows, I think, most people who live in this country at least to be able to sort of get to it and maybe get home if you can't get a hotel for love nor money in Liverpool that weekend, which is looking like the case. So a nice start time for that 2:30, middle of the day, to allow people who obviously live here but maybe a little bit further away to get there as well. So that route's all set out. It's the same route as last time. I saw someone say, why don't you watch it and then see where it's a little bit quieter, which I thought was a really good idea. And also it's a nice thing to do for 3 hours. So watch the parade from 2022. It's going to do the exact same route. And yeah, go, oh yeah, there's a bit of space there. I'll go there.
Not everyone, because there'll be about 15,000, 20,000 people watch this, and then if they all go to the same parade, I'm all going to be there.
Strand will be empty. I don't think the Strand will be empty. But yeah, try and spot maybe some pubs along the way and things like that you can maybe sort of frequent and sit outside with a nice drink and watch that. It will be an absolutely brilliant day. It's something that I'm really looking forward to. But one of the nice things about winning it so early is there is so many things to look forward to. We can look forward to the game on Sunday. We can look forward to the next home game against Arsenal. We can look forward to the last game of the season. We could all go and have a dance to Mo in the Olympia and everything around that, and then the parade on Monday as well. Don't forget our show on the Saturday night, of course. So if we're talking about the Red Weekender, then there's loads going on across the city, but we are Saturday night. There is a few tickets left. There is a few, so it's sold really well. It's
going to sell like that. Like, you get on it ASAP, really. I think it's going to be about 1,200 people in that auditorium, which is really, really exciting.
Yeah, so every time we go on, it's jumped up a bit, hasn't it? And so we're selling sort of, well, there was a big sell it first, and then it's going up sort of 30 or 40 every day. So, it is going to sell out possibly this week. So, yeah, would encourage everyone, if you are thinking of coming, to act quickly on that, because that is the Saturday night. But listen, loads across the whole weekend that is going to be absolutely brilliant. It's the best time to be a Liverpool fan. That's why we're all smiling. That's why we're enjoying it. We think it's a good time to subscribe to the Anfield Wrap as well. So if you want to enjoy all the content that we did from the pub yesterday, or the pub on Sunday night, or the pub probably tomorrow, there we are. All that to be look forward to as well. And if you want a bit more serious business, after this, I'm going to be speaking to Dave Powell about football finances and how much money all of this is worth and how much of that we can maybe get on the pitch next season. We shall see. But let's say thanks while we're here to Mo, to Craig, for you guys for enjoying it, for the boys for pulling everything together as well, Paddy and Ash. Appreciate them as ever. Up the Reds.